I'm Sean, who are you, and iPhone updates. You probably don't care about them. You probably have never even gaffed about them. For years, people stopped really gaffing about iPhone updates. Every few years, freak nerds like me will be like, oh, the app library is added, that's really useful, or like, the lock screen looks a lot better now. But people have mostly just stopped gaffing because, like, who even cares, This doesn't even matter. Things were different a decade ago. Like, I remember exactly where I was when iOS 7 came out. Maybe it was because I was insane and my hyperfixation was iPhones, but I remember exactly where I was.
Now we're going to move on to Apple. The company's popular iPads and iPhone getting a big new facelift.
And they're calling it the biggest redesign since the iPhone was introduced.
This is the biggest change we've seen Apple make to its software for the iPhone and iPad since, well, the invention of the iPhone.
To set things up for you, I'm going to do a little iOS 6 guide to show you what iOS looked like before iOS 7. This is what iOS looked like 10 years ago. We have different looking icons. We have some classic apps here. Everything just looks crazy. Let's take a look at, this is my favorite, voice memos. Like a realistic ass mic, pretty cool. These are what the two apps look like next to each other. One of them is a lot more fun than the other. Like, as you see, I'm talking, the voice meter that's picking, it's so cool. I love iOS 6. It's so vibes. We have the camera. I've taken some good photos in here. Let me pull up the photos that I've taken. Oh, this is when I was watching Bo Burnham's Inside on the iPod Touch. That was pretty good. This is me and Justin Bieber when I met him in my friend's car. This is me and Selena Gomez when I met her in my friend's car. When we were outside Five Below, this is like 4 months ago, we saw this really f***ed up car. So I took a picture of it on my iPod, and then the people who drove that car saw me take a photo of it on my iPod Touch, and were probably really embarrassed. And I feel really bad, but also I didn't really gaff because it was funny. Also, you literally can't see, like, the car, like the back was like completely messed up, but like it literally doesn't come out on the iPod. Oh, that's Justin and Carrie Lake. This was such a magical moment between the two. Justin and Mud Dog. God, it's just so great seeing them together. This was my wallpaper for a while. It was iCarly. This is my current one. Oh, awkward. This is my current one. It's more iCarly, but it's just like better stuff in my opinion. I just think it's like, it's just cool stuff. This is when Sam and Freddie met. Did they meet Selena and Justin in the same photo? That's crazy. Like, it's just good stuff on here. So yeah, that's my iOS 6 guide. It's less of a guide and more of me just showing you my camera roll.
Get Wi-Fi anywhere you go.
Hold up.
The icons used something called skeuomorphism. Skeuomorphism is basically when you use like UI elements to make them look like real life, to make them look like you could actually interact with this object in real life. If we take a calendar, like on this computer, I couldn't, there's a lot happening. I couldn't interact with this calendar in real life. Like, no way that could actually be a calendar. But if we look at what calendars used to look like on Mac or iPhone, I could interact with that calendar. That's a calendar I could interact with. I could do that. This design era was extremely popular, not only just in the 2000s, but I think specifically because of Steve Jobs at Apple. He wanted things to be very like simple for new users, and I think skeuomorphism was kind of perfect for that because phones were new, computers were new, people had a hard time with them. But by 2013, people knew how to use an iPhone. People could get their way around a Samsung. So skeuomorphism was kind of on the out. Ironically, this is the era where things felt simple. There was no way to turn on your flashlight. There were no widgets. There wasn't even a way to look at your notifications. Things were peaceful. Social media was whatever this is. instead of whatever this is. Skeuomorphism was interesting. Apps and icons were either the best, most detailed recreations of real-life items, or they were bad.
Hey, Queen. Girl, you have done it again. Constantly raising the...
iOS 6 came out in 2012. The lead, designer at Apple at the time was a man named Scott Forstall.
How many fools can I kill today? Too many to count, don't get in my way. I shoot a mofo in the throat with my bow.
He was behind everything skeuomorphic at Apple. One of the things that came out in iOS 6 was the replacement of Google Maps, and it was called Apple Maps. And to say that Apple Maps didn't launch in the best state would be an understatement.
The world of iOS 6 is a bleak and dystopian one. The Statue of Liberty? Gone. The Brooklyn Bridge? Obliterated. Entire regions have been terraformed. Users have taken to Twitter and Tumblr to showcase the most egregious failures. Collapsed buildings, walking directions that lead nowhere, and satellite images completely obscured by clouds. Apple has misidentified entire towns as hospitals, or misclassified a nursery as an airport.
iOS 6 confused a lot of people. I remember updating my iPod Touch 4th generation and wondering, where'd my YouTube app go? Because their deal ran out with Google, and the YouTube app that was built into the iPod and the iPhone at the time was just removed. And it took, you would say, oh, just download the YouTube app from the App Store. I think it was probably about 2 to 3 months before Google had an actual app for YouTube and Google Maps on the App Store. You literally you had to go to the, web browser to watch YouTube. It was not good. So he left the company in late 2012. And who took his position at Apple? Johnny Ive. A British man that was insane. He was the lead hardware designer. He designed a lot of things. He designed the first ever iMac, which looks cool. He designed the first ever iBook. He did a lot, So it just made sense that he would be the software designer. But one thing about him is he hated skeuomorphism. He loved minimalism. In early 2013, it was rumored that Apple would be completely redesigning iOS 7. They would be completely redesigning iOS from the ground up. And then it happened. June 10th, 2013. Essentially my 9/11. Okay, so maybe it's been 2 to 9 months since I last recorded that part of this video. I decided to re-record this because I thought I needed to put some new information into this video. So this is Judgment Day. It's kind of like a scary, weird, f***ed-up version of, Hamburger Helper, the mascot. If you know, you know. So what's happening with iOS 7? Well, I'll show you. I'll show you a little montage. Here's a little montage. Montage time, and it has the cool text. Montage time.
Now, this is why we get so excited when we're working on a new version of iOS, because we know that we can positively affect millions of developers and hundreds of millions of users. It's a great thrill that I announce iOS 7. It's unbelievable.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Your iPhone and iPad are about to look a lot different. This is not the iOS you have known. The design has been completely overhauled. No more notepad-looking Notes app or plain weather app. Everything is cleaner and fresher looking. My first impression, it looks great.
Skeuomorphism is out, baby. It's all about flat design now. And some of this looks really cool, and most of it looks really, really bad. Why are the cell service indicators, why are they bubbles now? Why did we make them bubbles? Why are they so long? What are these icons? It's getting crazy. Look at that settings app from the first beta. It's just getting crazy. It's just, they had fun, You guys have fun.
You guys have fun.
Not that much fun.
Not that much fun!
It's all just so bright. What I love about iOS 7 is the design was so bright, they had to make an update which lowered the brightness of some of the icons because some of the icons were so insanely bright. So here's some of the... let's go to the feature corner. Feature corner. I don't feel like changing corners. I don't feel like so I'm in my lazy era where I don't feel like moving the tripod that has my phone on it to a different corner of this room. So this is the regular corner and the feature corner. This is where the feature corner is. Can you leave me alone? What are some of the new features in iOS 7, you might be asking, which is a fair question. You know, I've been saying this is the feature corner. Let's talk about the features. So what are the new features? We get crazy with them. You know, we get crazy with the features. What are the new ones? AirDrop. You can AirDrop photos and videos to other iPhones and other Macs. What a useful feature. You can Control Center. You know, when you swipe up, well, now you swipe down from the bottom. You know how it has all the buttons. You can do it has the buttons on it, and you can do that. CarPlay, where you can you can use your phone in the car, but like legally, like safely. You know. I've gotten into a few accidents using CarPlay. I won't even lie. I have gotten into like several, maybe 9 or 10, 11, 13, 14, 17 accidents while using CarPlay on my iPhone 4S. Automatic updates, that's crazy. You can now, your apps will update automatically. You had to go into the App Store and manually update every app. Okay, the feature corner is done. We're done with the feature corner. That's when the script is done with the feature corner. There's no more features. You know, the main feature is the redesign. Who cares? The features are done. No more features. So the entire interface was redesigned from the ground up. What's the problem, Sean? You have such a problem with iOS 7. What's the problem? I don't care.
Stay back, this is gonna get bad. I'm about to show this lab rat how to be a real dad.
So my phone just ran out of storage and I had to delete Spotify to continue filming this video. I hope you're happy. iOS 7 came out and it marked a turning point for the 2010s. I will say Windows 8 came out the year before, and that was kind of the moment. Windows Phone 7 came out in 2011 and that influenced Windows 8. And Windows 8 coming out kind of changed the culture. And iOS 7 was kind of a weird, up continuation of Windows 8. It was like, what would happen if we made a weird creation and we just had fun? You kids have fun. Not that much fun. Not that much Here's the thing. I am another person on the internet talking about why minimalism can be bad. Is that boring? Yes. But hear me out. I think minimalism can be great, you know? Like the Apple logo. Look at that logo. That's a minimalistic logo, but you make that logo as small as possible, you can still see it. The Nike logo, you make that logo as small as possible, you still know what it is. You look at that logo from 1 billion miles away, you can see that. You're on this side of Earth, I'm on that side. I have the Apple logo in my hand, you don't. You're looking at me, you're like, what is that? You see the Apple logo, you go, he's holding the Apple logo in his hands. And that's why I think, like, James Corden should be the president of the United States. I think he could be a great president. You know, by the late 2010s, companies were just doing with minimalism. Minimalism kind of just happened. People said, you know what? I'm going to make my logo scary. And that's what happened. We have the MasterCard logo. We have the Gap logo. We have Pringles. What did they do to you, Pringles? No! Okay, it's been a few days. Why am I being so annoying? I don't understand. Just ignore me. Just ignore what I'm saying. But keep watching the video. Thanks. Now I want to clarify for the people. For the people! I'm not talking about current day logos. I think we're currently in kind of a goated graphic design era. We're going crazy because of COVID. COVID. I just bought some fleas. A little rap I just came up with. Like, COVID changed everything. We're like, look at the Nordstrom Rack logo. What's going on with that thing? You know, Pepsi. Pepsi's just crazy now. Pepsi went crazy. Discord. Look at that Discord word mark. That's a crazy font. They just went crazy with it. They went crazy, and we have fun now. You kids have fun. Look at the new Android logo. It's like dithered 3D. It's like beautiful. It's a very beautiful logo. I like it a lot. Okay, let's talk about the mixed reviews of iOS 7. People hated iOS 7, but people loved iOS 7. Some people thought, you know, the UI looks bad, which was fair because it did. But some people thought, you know what? I think it looks good, and they were wrong because it didn't. iOS 7 had one of the fastest adoption rates in human history. 35% of people who had iPhones had updated to iOS 7 in the first day it was out. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of people. 35 people updated to iOS 7. That's like half of iPhone users. Do you know how hard it is to get people to manually update their phone? You know how hard it is to get your uncle to manually update their iPhone? They're not going to do that, but everyone wanted to see what iOS 7 had to offer. It was cool. It was a cultural moment. It was very similar to WandaVision or last night's episode of Loki. Last night was Season 2, Episode 4. I'm assuming Season 3, Episode 6 will be out by the time this video is out. But things were crazy with iOS 7. Things were just crazy. By August of 2014, a year after, 95% of all iOS devices were on iOS 7. That is an insane number. Most of the people I know are still on iOS 16. I see people that some people are still on iOS 15 on their new phones. How are you doing that? How do you never update your people are freaks now. I'm just gonna if your phone is on iOS 15, you can unsubscribe from my YouTube channel. Thanks. Things got boring after iOS 7. iOS 7 came out, it was this whole new redesign. Everything looks different, all the icons are different. What happened after? Well, let me look on my list. We're back in the feature corner. Welcome to the feature corner. We're back. Let me check my list out. iOS 8 brought Apple Music. iOS 9 brought a new font to the operating system, new font, and a new multitasking tab, like the multitasking interface, which is literally the exact same as the current one. Like the one that we use now. They have not changed the multitasking screen in like 8 years. Can we talk about that? Let's talk about that. I'm not gonna let this battle be dictated by facts. I'm rich! That's the end of the video. I'm just done. I've talked too much. You've heard too much from me. My next video will be a 19-hour long documentary about iOS 8 and how it changed the notification center forever. So, stay tuned for that one, guys. New Fortnite season comes out tonight. The old map, it's coming back. I'm pretty excited for that.
Your father was a great man. You must be what's left. Need to stop hating them games. Let him teach you how to dress. Got the mama jeans. And Mr. Fat Jersey face. So rich and white, it's like a run against a cheesecake. Group on the cans, need a bucket, and you feed. Got your hands so far up your rear, call you mate. I'm the head of steak. You're like a head of cabbage. About to get smacked. I'm a stimulus package. You're a bad man with no chance. You can't even touch me. I got 4 eggs. 2 in the White House. Just trust me. I hope you sang your best rhymes for the same half. Because right now, I'm 47% through. Kicking your ass.
Whatever. That 40% thing got you real mad. Would it remind you how many decent parents you had?
Look, I respect our religions, but it might get crazy.